In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create this 3D twisted text. So in order to prepare our text, we're actually going to be using Illustrator, and I am no designer by any means, so I have no idea how to use it. All I know is how to export certain images and create text. So we're simply going to go into the text layer here, and we'll type in our text. Then with our selection tool, I'll just drag it to the center, hold down Ctrl-Shift-Alt, and scale it up a bit, like so. And we'll go into the window, 3D and materials, and then we've got this pretty cool menu, which we can select the text layer and hit on extrude, for example, and our text is 3D just like that. Now let me go ahead and select my text here, and I'll just change the color here to white so we can see it better. So under my rotation here, I'll set the preset to front so we can see it from the front, and I'll up the perspective to the max. Then we can start increasing the depth, twisting it, maybe set this to 250. And the taper basically scales it down towards the end of it. So we'll set this to maybe 30 and the depth to 1200. Now we've got another option here called bevel. So just like in After Effects, let's enable it. And this basically just gives us this nice bevel around our text, and we can play around with the settings and achieve whatever we want to. I'm just going to create something pretty basic. Okay, next we're going to go into the material here, and we got some preset materials you can use. For example, there's like gold materials, fabric, and all of that. So you can go ahead and use this if you want to. I'm just going to stick to the default one, and I'll set my roughness here to 0.2 and bump up the metallic to 0.9, maybe 0.8. So it's not too reflective. Now we can go ahead and turn on the ray tracing so we can better see how it would look like. So once I've turned it on, you can see some shadows and reflections. So that's pretty much how it's going to look like in After Effects. So again, if you want to change the color of the text, you're simply going to select your text layer here and double click on this color panel, change it up, and there you go. Okay, once you're done, you're going to go ahead and right click your text, export selection, and make sure your format over here is set to GLTF. So that is a 3D format that After Effects can read, and export your selection. Okay, now we can drag and drop this file onto After Effects, and we need to make sure Advanced 3D is set to on. So under here, we'll set it to Advanced 3D, and let's go ahead and rename this to text, and we can scale this up. So we can see the text is reflective with the material we selected, which is basically white. And I can go ahead and create a light now, and I'll make it an environment light, set the intensity to 80 and the shadow set to 100. Make sure cast shadow is turned on. Actually, the darkness of my shadows, I'll maybe set it to something like 90. And I've also got this HDRI image from Polyheaven, which is a free website to get these type of images. And once I go into my light here, under source, I can set the HDRI image, and it basically reflects the environment. So here I can set a different rotation and control the reflections. Now, something I like to do with these reflections is set 2 keyframes. And let's say my composition is going to be about 5 seconds long. I'll just give this a few keyframes, so maybe 10 and 10. So once we animate the text, there's still going to be some reflection going over it, just to give this some sort of a continuous life. Let's go ahead and create a camera. And I'm going to set a keyframe right about here for my position. I will hold down Shift and hit A to bring up the point of interest, and R to bring up the rotation, and maybe set a keyframe for my Z rotation. Now you can animate this however you want to, maybe going from the center of the text here, but I'm going to show you how I did the animation in the beginning. So something simple like just dragging your mouse to the bottom of the text here. And I'll select these keyframes, hit F9, go into my graph here and just speed it up on the beginning. Drag them here as well a bit. And let's preview this. Okay, so this is our basic camera animation for this text reveal. Now we can also create a new solid, and we'll call this background. And add the gradient ramp over here. Let's make this kind of a green, set this to radial. swap the colors, and I'll just drag this. Then what I can do is hit AA on my text layer, and I've got something called shadow colors, and I can sample the background color here, and it would sort of match it, and it blends with the environment a bit more. So this is basically how you can extrude 3D text using Illustrator and then import them into After Effects. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.